Hi, Jimmy. Oh, we are going to jail with you, but we're going to go important. But first of all, corruption. Charity, whatever make any statement whatsoever, to make 3 statements. First one, very corruption. Second one, very corruption. Third one, very corruption. For majority of the gullible Yoruba YouTube, we might even grandstanding. Could you ever call corruption? And the master reason for it. The fundamental source of corruption in Nigeria is population census figure. Prior to 1966, nígbà táwọn British colonial thugs wà ní Nigeria, wọ́n manipulate the population census figure in Nigeria to favor the North. Because the Northerners supported their colonial rule. So wọ́n take care of them. One of the ways that we take care of it, we won't manipulate the population figure in Nigeria to favor the North. But could see any scientific proof whatsoever to show the Hausa Fulani won't put Yoruba for instance. But want to perpetrate fraud here to the extent that Hausa Fulani don't hand over powerful, no maintain the same fraud. But notwithstanding there, that was why the House of Representative election of 1959. If you see Yoruba, it may be 50 MP. Hausa Fulani may be 150 MP. Igbo may be 55 MP, or even less than that. The combined MPs of the Yoruba and Igbo Kototi, Hausa. So that's why Tigamba, if you maintain I want to lead others, not because Britain to help on that to perpetrate fraud in terms of the population census figure. But notwithstanding that, but in 1966, the fraud in because 1966 not a census figure, which is already fake. That if you create states, local government, and senatorial districts. So Hausa Fulani created more states to themselves, more local government to themselves. So nobody, our military suspend the regional system of government in 1966. Hausa wa change the system in a way to get people to ban Yoruba land, to ban Igbo land, to ban Ile Hausa. You bring it down to the center. Center Mawashi away according to the number of states and local government each region has. So you find out that Yoruba don't contribute 49% of the total revenue to the federal government. End up letting get in return. End up letting get by about 8 to 10%. Hausa Fulani don't contribute to between 1 and 2% to the revenue of the federal government. Oman get about 60% of the total revenue from the monthly allocation the federal government distribute. Because what the low census figure let it create states, more state for themselves, more local government to themselves. Showing got to cause corruption in Nigeria here. Buhari more being got to cause corruption here. But Buhari will never address that because of favor and one. The secret is for every 100 naira the federal government man no Yoruba contribute 49 naira. The people of the Niger Delta, I want to constitute the Edo, the Urobo, the Shekiri, Ijo, Ogoni, Efik, and Ibibio. They contribute collectively 44 naira of every 100 naira the federal government banner. Hausa Fulani contribute only 1 naira. So Hausa Fulani don't contribute 1 naira. Over end up letting between 25 to 30 naira of every 100 naira the federal government but distribute as monthly allocation every month. So corruption gone to Jackie Buhari Corp. Corruption gone to Jacko face. Nico correct the system whereby owó tó bá gbà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá wá kó lọ sí Abuja. Abuja fún Hausa Fulani. Hausa Fulani have to call hospitals. Hausa Fulani have to call railway stations. One have to call fire service stations. One have to call schools. It shouldn't be. Everybody in Paris Awolowo was able to do so much because the entire resources generated in Yoruba land then Awolowo control it. Kosipe and share pẹ̀lú Hausa, aba and share pẹ̀lú Igbo. But at the time Hausa to suspend the regional system of government along with the Igbo in any case. So what about get nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ó lọ sí Abuja ni. Owó tá bá get Niger Delta ó lọ sí Abuja ni. Nítorí pé Yorùbá àti Niger Delta ló ní economic backbone of Nigeria. Hausa tí ò contribute anything wọ́n end up láti gba majority of the shares. Nǹkan tó jẹ́ corruption rẹ̀, nǹkan tó jẹ́ ká cob nìyẹn, nǹkan tó jẹ́ kí Buhari kó focus ni, but kí ló ń sọ ó ló máa probe NNPC missing money. It's just grandstanding. Yorùbá ló ń finance every single development in the north. Owó Yorùbá àti owó Niger Delta. This is the corruption that must be curbed. But Yorùbá, gullible Yorùbá, you to understand. Wọ́n níṣẹ́, wọ́n nílé, wọ́n lè marry. Nítorí pé kí ni gbogbo owó tá ń generate nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, Abuja ló ń lọ, Abuja fi ń develop north. Wọ́n sọ fún wa pé north ní more state, wọ́n ní more population. Ẹni tó ní more state, tó ní more population, kí ni contribution into the revenue? They contributed nothing. So nǹkan tó Yorùbá yóò búlọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé the British nígbà tó wá wọ́n colonize àwọn parent wa, wọ́n dẹ̀ mú owó Yorùbá wọ́n lọ fi tún England ṣe. The same system làwùsá ń ṣe ń sìn. Buhari ò change anything. Hausa ń lo owó Yorùbá, Hausa ń lo owó Niger Delta, wọ́n lọ fi ń develop north. Torí ẹ̀ náà ṣe máa ń pààyàn, torí ẹ̀ náà ṣe máa ń ready fún war láti jẹ president Nigeria. Yorùbá gbọ́dọ̀ ní boldness ní the Yorùbá youth. Àwọn parents wa ti fail wa because they are beholden to Hausa. Hausa ń fìyà jẹ yín ni because owó tẹ̀ ń generate ní region ní ilẹ̀ Abuja ló ń lọ, from there Abuja ń lò fún Hausa ni. This must stop because Yorùbá ò ń ṣerú anybody. This is why we are calling on you to support the need for regional government. Tó bá warrant pé ká lo viral and bacterial weapon ni, let us use it because Boko Haram did the same thing láti ensure pé power padà lọ fún north. Not to contribute. It is not obtainable in America. Our state revenue to state in generate in America kò lọ sí federal. State ló ń retain revenue ẹ̀, ó dẹ̀ ń fún federal ní percentage which is around 10%. The same thing not obtainable in the United Kingdom. Owó tó ń generate ní England, owó tó ń generate ní Scotland, owó tó ń generate ní Wales, owó tó ń generate ní Northern Ireland. Regions yẹn ló wà. Wọ́n kàn fún the Westminster, which is the central government, ní certain percentage ní. Owó tó a bá generate nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, Yorùbá ló jẹ́ kó ṣàǹfààní fún because owó Yorùbá ni. But àwọn Hausa ló ń ṣàǹfààní fún. Corruption ta fẹ́ curb nìyẹn, but Buhari ò lè ever curb do corruption yẹn. Inú corruption yìí ni Buhari àtàwọn Hausa Fúlàní ti ní. Owó Yorùbá náà fi ń ṣayé. Nǹkan tí jẹ́ pé Yorùbá ò ní gbà nìyẹn. So we must decide to fight this battle. It must be regional government or we dissolve Nigeria. And we will use, if they are not going to allow us to return back to regional government, we will resort to the use of chemical and biological weapons. That is it. Boko Haram use AK-47, IED, RPG, suicide bomber. We do not need to follow the same process. We have tried as much as possible can negotiate for peace. Because kò síbi kò anywhere láyé tó jẹ́ pé èèyàn ti ń generate resources and no resources every develop another region. Why should that be? Tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ ogun, owó Yorùbá ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ló gbọ́dọ̀ ṣàǹfààní fún. Torí kò ṣàǹfààní fún àwọn ọmọ wa. Àwọn ọmọ wa ò níṣẹ́. Àwọn ọmọ ordinary malaria ń pa everybody. You see Yoruba parents want to fail. They send their children to primary school, to secondary school, to university. Majority of us to need postgraduate degree. Wọ́n máa lọ sí America, wọ́n máa lọ máa ṣe security guard. Wọ́n wá sí London, wọ́n máa lọ ṣe kógbẹ̀kógbẹ̀. Wọ́n lọ sí Paris, wọ́n máa lọ máa ṣe security. Ìyà kan jẹ Yorùbá lọ ni. Meanwhile, àwọn Hausa ń fún wa gbádùn. Ẹjọ́ wo la fẹ́ ṣe lè dá? Buhari kan purọ́ pé òun fẹ́ wá curb corruption ni. Bàbá olè ni. Because owó Yorùbá ló ná kò ní ever support regional government. Torí tó bá support regional government, àwọn Hausa ò ní rówó ná mọ́. Tí wọ́n bá lówó ná mọ́, wọ́n á padà sí agriculture. So nǹkan tó jẹ́ kẹ́ máa fojú rí orí yín rò nìyẹn. Ẹ má jẹ́ kán ba life àwọn ọmọ wa jẹ́. Yorùbá ò kì í ṣerú anybody. But owó tó ń generate tán kó lẹ̀ Yorùbá tó fi ń tún lé Hausa ṣe, wọ́n ṣe wá bí ẹrú ni.